I'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity with Amish podcast. And so welcome. This is going to be an interesting journey for all of us. And so there'll be things that we laugh on the podcast and then we cry. There'll be things that make us smile. There'll be things that say, wow, I never thought of that before. And there might be a few things that, make us mad. But because we're Amish, we won't show that anger. We will just kind of hold it inside. Sorry, there might be some Amish jokes. I know you probably all kind of think, is Mark in Roomspringer? I get it. No, I'm not. I actually am not Amish. Myself, my son-in-law, he was raised Amish. And then I got a lot of Amish friends too. Many people are calling me an expert in the Amish, especially my daughter, Melissa, who's married to Amish. And so this is going to be a very interesting. The vision for this podcast is really it's to be whatever you want it to be. And so you get to decide where you want it to go. So you will have topics. And so we're going to be covering personalities. And so this is kind of cool. And so we'll get started and we'll go and just do a quick one here today of the amiable. So which of these four shapes would you tend to like the most? A cube, a pyramid, a wavy line, or a ball? If you chose the ball, you'd be referred to like as an amiable. Which of these four things cause you the most frustration in any area of your life? Out of order, boring or not, or out of order, out of control, boring or not fun, or conflict with others. Again, out of order, out of control, boring or not fun, or conflict with others. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, which shape do you like the most and which of the things cause most frustration? If you chose the ball or conflict with others, you'd be what we'd refer to as an amiable personality. And so one of your greatest strengths might be your concern, compassion for people. One of your weaknesses might be your concern, compassion for people. So our greatest strength is our greatest weakness, and our greatest weakness is just our greatest strength misapplied. It's taking a strength and carrying it too far. We tend to like people who are like us, and we tend to fall in love with people who are opposite of us. And so if you're married and you're an amiable, your spouse likely is going to be a driver. This is not always the case, but it's often the case. And so the very things that drew you together, that cause you to fall in love, are the very things that irritate you like crazy once you're married. If you chose the cube or the ball and the cube next, or conflict with others and out of order, if the second one was a cube or out of order, your secondary personality is going to be analytic. So another strength you might have, in addition being concern, compassion for people, is another strength you might have is you like to dot your I's, cross your T's, make sure things are done properly in order. A weakness might be the same. Now, when we combine these two together, you're less assertive both with people and tasks. It's not good or bad. It just is what it is. So you'll tend to let other people push forward, drive forward. Yeah, you don't like conflict and you don't like to do things wrong. Another strength you might have when you combine these two together is you might be really tenacious. Like once you set your mind to do something, you do it. A weakness, you might be a bit stubborn at times. I always like when I'm speaking around the world to large groups of people and I share this, and the amiables are like, I'm not stubborn. Like I have, 7 kids, and my wife and I have been married for 39 years. And my dad, I was raised as a Baptist, my dad was a Baptist pastor, Dutch background. So actually very like I've been invited to go to school events and stuff like that. And, the Amish sing the same songs that I grew up singing. Like, and there's things on the school walls that I grew up with. So it's interesting because I'm very comfortable, within the Amish community because a lot of the values, I think I might have been raised a bit, stricter though. We didn't allow, there was no such thing as room sprayer for us. I'll tell you that, for sure. And so, and being able to go through and being able to go through. So another strength you might have is, so you might be tenacious. A downside, a weakness of that is you might be stubborn and you might have a lot of data to back up your stubbornness. If you're a ball in a pyramid or conflict with others and then out of control, you'd be an amiable driver personality. You're gonna, when you cross over like this, you're gonna have a lot of inner conflict. So you see people's potential. So one of your greatest strengths is your drive, assertiveness. You make things happen as a driver. One of your weaknesses is your drive, your assertiveness. You make things happen. So you're compassionate, but you're driven too. So there's tension there. So it's almost like, with a horse, when you're riding a horse, it's almost like you're spurring it, you're making it run, but then holding it back at the same time. So you're going to have inner conflict. Like you're going to see people's potential and want to push people forward, but then you also want to hold people back. Like you might go ahead and say something that's very direct to people. And then all of a sudden there's conflict and you're like, so there's tension inside. If you're an amiable and an expressive personality, so boring or not fun, so your amiable, expressive personality, you'll go ahead, and another strength you'd have here is your energy, excitement, enthusiasm. Weakness would be energy, excitement, enthusiasm. So you're fun, people will love you, you're funny, you're cool, you like to be the center of attention, probably a bit of dramatic. And so you're going to be outgoing, but you're also going to be this type of person. You're a double person, double people person. And so you're just fun. People are going to like you, but you're going to have a hard time maybe staying focused on the task. So hopefully this is helpful. Great introduction. Go through the other podcasts to learn a little bit more about, the analytic and then the driver and then the expressive personality. If you're an amiable and you're married to a driver personality, um, who's in control of that relationship? Most of the time, people will say the driver is, they're the most aggressive. But the amiable is often the one that's controlling everything behind the scenes. I'm a driver analytic. I'm a driver analytic, and the amiable, my wife is an amiable analytic, double amiable. So we'll learn a lot about ourselves in this podcast, with Amish and we'll learn about ourselves first and foremost, but then we'll learn a lot about other people, our spouse, family members, individuals in the church, friends, all of those type of things, career wise. There'll be a whole bunch of different topics. So hopefully this was beneficial for sure. Share this with other people. As we help others, they help us, and together we can accomplish a lot more than we ever could on our own. If you have any questions, connect with the individual. I mean, pay this forward, share it with other people. And so if you have any questions, connect with the individual who invited you to participate in today's session, or you can call 630-393-9909. That's 630-393-9909. Love to help you, any way we can. Have an amazing day. Always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Bye-bye.